Friends, today we have a very interesting topic to discuss, and that is Indian foreign policy. So, in this topic, we would discuss Indian foreign policy in a much holistic way. Firstly, we start with the basic understanding of Indian foreign policy, and then we will discuss about the flashback of Indian foreign policy, that how it shaped over the years. Then we will discuss some of the key features of Indian foreign politics. Then we lastly discuss that how we can further strengthen our Indian foreign policy, and at last we would conclude. So, without wasting our time, let's start our topic. And at the very outset, let me tell you that I'll share my own understanding about this topic, and I don't have any book or booklet here to make just reading from that. So it's all about sharing of understanding. So let's start. So what is foreign policy? So basically, foreign policy is a set of beliefs, ideas, values, ethos, and principles with which one country deals with another country. It varies from country to country. Like it's not same for everyone. One size fits all. So that's not case with the foreign policy. And there is a very wonderful saying in foreign policy that no one is permanent friend or foe. The only permanent is the interest. So nation interest is always at paramount. So this is a sort of layman understanding of foreign policy. Now let's get flashback of Indian foreign policy. So Indian foreign policy shaped over the decades. After independence, Nehruvian era started, as we all know that, and we adopted non-alliance when entire world was divided between Eastern Bloc and the Western Bloc. India was non-aligned at that moment, and India stood on its own ground. And India, that's where we shaped our foreign policy. And as of now, we are still much independent. We are not part of any US bloc or the Russian bloc. We are independent. And after many years, as Indira Gandhi came, we saw some hard stance there in 1971. We liberated Bangladesh also. Then Atal Bihari Vajpayee, subsequent governments, came and they shaped Indian foreign policy. Somewhere we were also appeased, but currently our foreign policy is much I would say hard. Like our foreign minister S. Shankar categorically mentioned that as far as Russia Ukraine war is concerned, we are sitting on our own ground while Western bloc forced us to take one side. But as we categorically mentioned that we are not sitting on the fence, we are on our own ground. So that's where India is well sharply negotiating between both the blocks of power. Like we have a cordial relations with USA. At the same time, we have good relations with Russia also. So that's where we define our Indian foreign policy. Now let's talk about some of the key features of Indian foreign policy. The first one is territorial integrity. We are much concerned for our territorial integrity and sovereignty of our country. We will not tolerate an inch of incursion from any other country as far as our territorial integrity and sovereignty is concerned. And at the same time, we also respect the integrity of other countries, also their sovereignty also. So that's the key feature, and that's a jewel of our foreign policy, that India never invaded any other country. So that shows our ethos, values as far as this integrity, territorial integrity is concerned. So yes, this is the first point. The second one is India emphasizes on independent foreign policy. We don't want influence of any other power, muscle power or their military power on the foreign policy. No, we have an independent foreign policy, and the same we want for the other countries also, and we protect the interest in that regard also. When Sri Lanka was in crisis, India helped Sri Lanka so that foreign powers won't dominate their foreign policy. So that's also the key features of Indian foreign policy. The third one is that we believe in people to people ties. Foreign policy is not about the cooperation between just two countries and just understanding between the government to government of those countries. We believe in people to people ties. People of one country should have good ties with another country. Just an example, we have open border door policy with our neighboring country like Nepal. So that shows people to people cooperation where people can uh, have a much say in foreign policy. So this is another third key feature of Indian foreign policy. Uh, the fourth one is that India protect its diaspora around the world. India is having an enormous diaspora in all countries. Just look at big companies in the world like Microsoft, Google. All Indians are sitting at the helm of these companies, and not only in this field also, but in politics you would see Indians everywhere. Look at NASA, you would see Indian scientists there. So we protect the Indian diaspora there. When any kind of eventuality happens, India is always ready to protect its diaspora. When Ukraine was in crisis, India airlifted all its diaspora from there, especially the students. So that's how India protect its diaspora, and they are the biggest strength for Indian economy also. Like they send remittances to our country, so that's also the case. So this is another key feature of Indian foreign policy. Another thing is that India always promote international peace. India always emphasize that this is not an era of war, and any dispute could be solved with talks, be it military talks or diplomatic talks. So talks and discussions are the best way to solve all kind of disputes, all kind of misunderstandings. Like India believe in such policy since Swami Vivekananda, who and we believe in his ideology that entire world is one family. So India always protect and always emphasize for peace and tranquility along the border areas, inside the country, and in entire world. So this is another key feature. Now let's further talk that how we can further strengthen our foreign policy. Look, India's first of all, look at India's geographical condition. Like India is well placed in Indo-Pacific region, and Indo-Pacific region has enormous kind of uh, potential. Like China is flexing its brownie muscles in South China Sea. So all countries' interest lies in Indo-Pacific region, and India is there. So all countries want to have a good relations with India in order to protect their trade routes. So that is the way. That's why USA is forming a block with India, Australia, Japan. That quad. So Indo-Pacific is itself a biggest strength to further strengthen its Indian um foreign policy. Another thing is that Southeast Asian nations, it's a big market, and countries are looking for this kind of Southeast Asian nations. It's a big market, as I said, and countries want to achieve different economical goals from there. So, and India is acting like a big brother for Southeast Asian nations. So obviously countries want to have good ties with India. So it's a win-win situation for India and other countries, to boost relations with each other. So this is another key uh, thing by which we can further strengthen our foreign policy. Another thing is that India is growing as a superpower. Look at India's economy, now fifth largest economy. We recently surpassed uh, UK. So, and India is also envisaged to become third largest economy. Obviously, countries want to invest in our country, in terms of FDIs, foreign direct investment. So this is also a great thing for our country to further enhance its foreign policy. So these are some ways and fields and sectors with which we can further boost our foreign policy. So with this, we have discussed thoroughly this topic, and let's go to conclusion. So I would conclude that foreign policy for any country is at hold utmost importance, because we live in a globalized world where we have to make ties with other countries in order to flourish our economy, in order to uplift the living standards of our citizens, in order to boost our economy, in order to boost our military strength. So no country can make a progress in isolation. So foreign policy is the best tool with which we can make our country regional power, superpower, and we can um, strengthen our country in each and every aspect. Uh, it's not that only uh, developing countries need a good foreign policy. Even the developed countries, they also want developing countries in order to protect their interest. So foreign policy of any country, totally lies in its interest. When there is a conflict of interest, we could see many conflicts, and when there is uh, like-mindedness, then there is collaboration of interest, then obviously foreign policy make new headways. So yeah, with this I'm going to wrap up this session. Have a good day.